Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday, March 8th, 2020. I want to welcome you all to the show. Here's my little love, Lucky. As you can see, he always looks so excited to be on camera. But he wanted to say good morning and wish you a happy International Women's Day. Okay, here we go. He wants to go on the bed. Okay, hi, Faith. Hi, my name is Dee. Hi, Juan. Welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody. Okay, so first order of business. I decided to pull 4 numbers this week, and we had 3 winners out of 4. So, Oil Painter, you won with 477 in the live chat. Nirvana Flux won with the number 82 in the live chat. There was number 230, which was a loser, no winner there. And then number 23 was won by Brianna in the live chat. Good morning, small wildflowers. Good to see you. Okay, so I know it seems like it's early today, but we have daylight savings time. So technically it is 11 a.m. here in California. Okay, so we'll continue to announce these winners. We're bringing the game to a close. We're going to end the week of March 19th, which I think that Sunday is like a 20-something day. And we'll have done this for a year. So, okay, so that was that. And then I wanted to mention that we have a full moon in Virgo. And when I was looking up this full moon, what struck me was that it's in opposition to Neptune, and Neptune is in a sextile to Jupiter. So I think that this has the potentials of being quite a spiritual full moon, where if we're being authentic, we can release any illusions, any delusions, any fantasies that we have, and step into a much more spiritual dynamic, and in the way we're viewing things, in the way we're viewing our situations. So faith over fear, exactly. And I think that's where we can see the higher vibrations of Neptune come in, and coupled with Jupiter, I think it can help us anchor in. When I say anchor in, I mean sort of root in our spiritual experiences, the things that have been conceptual in some ways. I believe spirit has an opportunity to bring you actual experiences in your physical world that will root in these dynamics for you. Okay. Benjamin, what you have in your natal chart will be supersede the regular chart, but I want to put it this way. So we have this full moon in Virgo. The opposite of Virgo is, help me with this, I can't do it backwards. I know it, it's like in the back of my head. Gemini? No. That's not right. But I want to put it this way, because if you look at your natural chart, for instance, my natal moon is in whole sign, it's in Taurus. So the way this is going to trigger me is slightly different than it's going to trigger other people. But I want to put it in a general way, because I feel like the opportunities to capitalize on the spiritual nature of this dynamic, of allowing this, a Pisces, thank you guys. You guys are so good. You help me out all the time. I love that. Thank you. So Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So there we go. Do we see kind of this synergy going on here? So I am a 9-degree Taurus. So I'm really excited to see what happens when Uranus creeps up on that. But anyway, so I'm excited for this full moon. I feel like, we think of full moons as endings, but every ending starts a new beginning, and every new beginning is an ending of some kind. So this particular week, I think it's really about allowing ourselves to take the higher vibrations of these planets and implement them in our lives. Okay, so we're going to go on to our readings this week. As you know, and if you're first time here, I think Truth Tella, I don't think I've seen you here in the chat before. I go backwards. I don't know, 3 or 4 Mercury retrogrades ago, I decided to go backwards and start with Pisces, and it just sort of stuck. So that's what we're going to do. Here we go. Welcome, Benjamin. I love seeing first-time people. Okay, here we go. So what I do, for those of you that are unfamiliar with me, oh, Nirvana Flux, you won this week. I have to say, look, you won with number 82 in the live chat. So after the show, be sure to contact me within this next week so we can schedule your reading. Okay, and for Small Wildflowers, we also had a winner with Oil Painter, number 477. And then we had a winner with number 23, Brianna. And then number 230 is Out of Play. Okay, you will contact me. My email will be in any one of my videos has the email in my email contact. And if you're in the United States, you can text me. The phone number's there. I will be putting in the information this afternoon. I've got quite a full schedule of clients after the show today. So, but it'll be there by tonight. Okay, so let's go on to our reading, starting with Pisces. Okay, here we go. This is going to be Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Moon, Pisces Sun, and Pisces Stelliums. I know, it's fun to have 3 winners in 1 week. I was so excited, and I didn't even cheat. Because I always think you think I might cheat, but I don't. Okay, it's too hard to try to pick numbers out of the bowl. I don't know if you guys remember, but the bowl is like this big. So, okay, here we go. Our first angel for Pisces is Francesca. The second is Yvonne. The third is Fiona. And the final is Archangel Raphael. Okay. Well, thank you, Benjamin. Okay. Here we go. Francesca is going to be joined by the Risk card. Yvonne is being joined by the Mystery. Fiona is being joined by the Focus card, and Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Grail Knight. This is awesome. Okay, so for Pisces, Francesca will say, what do you visualize now? What do you visualize now? Focus on that. Negativity will block your progress. And then we have the Risk card. Okay, so the Risk card is really about risking a bigger picture of things. So here we have Francesca saying, what do you visualize? This is not about trying to picture how things are going to work out, Pisces. This is more about allowing the Neptunian aspect to go into that, creating this movie for yourself and risking a bigger picture of it, because in the opportunity and or the obstacle, we have Yvonne and the Mystery card. The Mystery card for me is choice. We have free will. Nothing is truly predestined. While the natal chart is the plan or the strategy for this lifetime for the soul, it is not set in stone. We come in with choice. Just like when you start a college semester, you could, you could initially have this big class load, and then when you get into it, you're like, this is too much and I'm not going to be successful. So you'll drop certain classes in order to move forward in a more efficient way. So for Pisces, this is a time, Francesca and the Risk card are about going into the future as you want it to play out, allowing the Neptunian aspect to work for you in the sense of being able to visualize how it will play out and to be vulnerable to that picture. That's what the Mystery card is about. This is our opportunity and our obstacle. In the angel's advice, we have Fiona. And Fiona says, now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving that guidance, and that you deserve that guidance. You deserve that support. You deserve them bringing in the experience. And there is the Focus card. So what we're seeing for Pisces is Spirit really asking you to risk a bigger picture of going into where you want to be, regardless of how things have been working out so far. We know we've been going through a 2-year cycle of Pluto and Saturn really bringing up some of the imbalances in our lives, and realigning those dynamics. So here we see for Pisces, Archangel Raphael offers a healing as we step into the sacred part of our truth. Do you see the Grail Knight? He is bowing down to Excalibur. Excalibur, only the purest knight can pull Excalibur out of the stone. It is the ultimate truth. So for Pisces this week, it's about really allowing this full moon to I don't want to say the end of illusion, because it's an ebb and a flow. It comes and it goes. But I want to say it's about, instead of looking at what has been, the illusion of what has been, which could have been very choppy and challenging, it's about going into the dynamic of what you want and then allowing yourself to marinate on it, to blossom in it, to expand upon it, using Jupiter's energy. Jupiter represents not just foreign things, but it represents the connection to the angelic realm. It represents the higher dimensions of the human experience. So I want to offer it this way, allowing the spirituality of Jupiter and Neptune to be the primary energies versus expanding the illusion or the negativity. So that's where I'm going with that. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. Truth teller. The game is, the numbers are between 1 and 500. 1 is out of play. And we do a recap each week, which is another reason why I think we're going to end the game, because at this point, it's becoming extremely voluminous to keep track of. So we're going to go that direction, and we'll find some new fun things to do. Things we'll be more successful at. Okay, so we're going on to our Aquariuses. Okay. So this is Aquarius Rising, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Sun, and Aquarius Stelliums. And for those of you that ask, why do I put a stellium in there? It's because even if your ascendant isn't there, even if your sun and your moon are somewhere else, if you have Venus, Mars, Neptune, Uranus, all in one sign, it's going to have an impact on you in a very palatable way. So that's why I include stelliums. Okay, good morning, Shelley. Good morning, Stephen. I hope you had a wonderful birthday on Monday. Oh, I think Sherrick's Winter, good, welcome here. I think you're new. Sammy's mom. Sammy, so good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, Violet. I said hi, Yvonne. Did I get everybody? I think so. Okay, here we go. On to our Aquariuses. Our first angel for Aquarius is Francesca. Isn't that funny? The second is Bethany. The third is Grace and Antoinette. And the final is Rochelle. Okay. Give it a good shuffle. Okay, Francesca is being joined by the Eagle. Bethany is being joined by the Restriction card. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Truth. And the final card, or Rochelle, is being joined by the Water Fairy. All right, Aquarius. Again, same as Pisces. What do you visualize right now? Focus on what you want rather than what you're experiencing, because this will come about, and it's coming about through spirit. I want to put it this way. Aquarius, there comes, I believe that manifestation is really not about one person making things happen. It is a collective. And oftentimes it's not just between you and another person, but you, spirit, and people around you that support that. So I want to say for Aquarius, this week feels like your connection to the angelic realm is that's where this manifestation is in. It's almost as if you're putting a directive out, and now Aquarius, it's your job to sit in reception of that. Today is International Women's Day, and while I'm not really a big fan of, say, man woman in a, how can I phrase this? There's this opposition between men and women. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I don't really play like that. To me, they're vibrations that work cooperatively to continue the human experience to facilitate the soul's growth. So, what I'm saying is, today is International Women's Day. Women are receptive. Women are creators. Women give birth. That is the cooperative energy. So I want to celebrate the idea of giving birth to new ideas, to giving birth and allowing spirit to be part of the equation. It's not just you being able, Aquarius, to make something happen, but you putting out an intention and then taking guided action as a result of that, because it feels like there's a pause. In the opportunity and or the obstacle is Bethany, which is about self-care, and there's the restriction card. This feels like Saturn to me. So to me, this is where you're taking care of yourself while spirit starts to move things around. And sometimes when we are putting out an intention, inadvertently we revert back to whether we think we can achieve that intention. We look at the road we've already been on and then measure ourselves from that point. I feel like in the angel's advice is Grace and Antoinette, the angels of compassion, and there's the truth card. This is in direct relation to taking care of yourself and the restriction card. I feel like this is sort of the dynamic. I want to say it this way for Aquarius. Sometimes a pause is not really restriction. It's not really about being held back from something as much as it's being, whatever is being manifested will be richer, sweeter, more savory, more aligned to what you want through a pause. That's the way I want to put it. And so in your opportunity, your obstacle, Aquarius, is to have a bigger picture of things, to see spirit working on your behalf, and for you to visualize that as you step into a place of compassion if for some reason things aren't happening quick enough. And I want to put it this way too. If Aquarius is in some ways allowing a situation to be, I want to put it this way. If you are accepting crumbs instead of a full slice of bread, there may be this pause, this restriction could potentially be the removing of an energy that does not serve you so that you can experience something from a bigger point of view. And that's what I think the truth card is about, and Grace and Antoinette, because in the final position for our Aquariuses, we have Rochelle, which is my favorite angel, and I hate to play favorites, but she says, as I honor and follow the guidance of my heart, prosperity is coming to me. And then here's the water fairy. And this is really an intuitive energy. It's really about going back to the eagle and to Francesca and starting to visualize what it is that you want. And then thanking spirit, thanking God and the angels for bringing that into your physical experience, giving you signs, giving you omens that you can hang your hat on, things that feel tangible so that you can then step into the future with more faith. So here we go. We talk about this dynamic of the moon being activated or triggering. There's an opposition between the moon and Neptune, and the Neptune is sextile Jupiter. So this is all activating illusion and also a spiritual dynamic. And if we're willing to be truthful where we are, where we know there is illusion, where we know that something is out of balance, and then our fears may be like, but oh no, I'm afraid to look at that too deeply. I kind of feel like it's more the more courage we have as Aquarius looks at something from a real raw place in some ways, like my examples aren't really good right now. I'm trying to think, because I feel like it's just this one more level of authenticity. It's as if, if I say to spirit, this is good, but it hasn't been quite up to snuff, and I'm really looking to go up to snuff. then Spirit will start to bring dynamics in. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that about the cats. I'm a big cat person. I had cats for many years. That's not easy to do, and both cats having cancer at the same time cannot be easy. What was the numbers? Janet M., the numbers are, for the last year or so, we've been playing a game. You pick a number between 2 and 500, and you have an opportunity to win a free half-hour reading with me. We are coming to the conclusion of that game, so we're going to be wrapping that up. But this week, we were fortunate enough to have 3 winners out of 4 numbers. We had a winner in the number 82. Nirvana Flux won that. We have 477, which was won by Oil Painter. Then we have number 23, which won a half hour. This is unprecedented, by the way, because we usually have big losers. I mean, no winners. So 23 is won by Brianna. And then the final number was nobody won, 230. And these numbers all come out of play. Okay. Juan, you had a loss as well? I'm so sorry to hear that. So much is going on. So many people are choosing. I don't see in the chat what happened, Juan. I don't see. Oh, Reba. Was Reba a cat? Oh, and so young. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's been really, there's a lady at the Starbucks in the market that I work at, and her roommate lost her dog on Monday. It's really tough. It's tough with our animals because they provide such unconditional love. They don't care what our hair looks like or what we're wearing or how much money we make. It's really a hard thing to deal with. But again, and I want to say this, I don't really believe in death. And while I don't enjoy losing someone in the physical because I can't hug and touch them anymore, when we allow ourselves to think outside the box, that those are energies that are still with us, we can often feel our pets still in our homes. They don't really leave us. They kind of like to hang out with us, and they incarnate with us over and over again. I want to tell you all a quick story before I go on to my Capricorns. John Edward is a famous psychic medium, and he had his Bichon dog Bichon. Her name was Jolie for 19 years. I believe he had her before he got married, and Jolie passed on. And a couple years after she passed, he had a dream, and Jolie said, "I'm going to come back. Look for the dog with a black spot." So a couple days later, John went to a restaurant and just happened to run into the breeder of Jolie. Like, hadn't seen her obviously in over 20 years, and she happened to have some puppies. So he went and looked at the puppies, but none of the puppies had a black spot. One was very assertive in getting his attention, but no black spot. So he left. He told his wife about it. A few days later, they went back to look at the puppies again. And again, the same puppy really just kind of jumped up and wanted to be in his energy. They ended up leaving the place without picking a dog, and they went to a restaurant. She had taken a picture of John with the dog, and she said, "This dog really seems to have a connection with you." And as she showed him the picture, her screen was cracked, and there was a black spot on the back of the dog. They went back and got the dog. So I want to offer this for those of you that have lost beloved pets, beloved angelic beings, as I refer to them. There's an opportunity for them to come back. And as we invite that energy back in, they're happy to come back. Okay. All right, here we go. On to our Capricorns. So did we have a troll in here? Did Sammy, what is that? Shameless? What is that? I missed it. Okay. All right. Hello, Ritu. Welcome. Okay, no, Virgo is not done yet. I go backwards. So I start at Pisces and I head towards Aries. We are on Capricorn right now. Okay. What happened? Oh, that's terrible. Why would she do that on your cat? Oh, okay. People, yeah, it's interesting. Okay. All right, here we go. Lucky's going to be 8 on the 19th. Welcome, Elizabeth. Here we go. Our first angel is Archangel Michael for Capricorn. Capricorn ascendant, Capricorn moon, Capricorn sun, Capricorn stelliums. Our second angel is Daniel. The third is Rochelle. And the final, is Chantal. My goodness, Capricorn. This looks like romance in the air here. Let's see. Welcome all to the new people. I think that's Rula. Rula, I think I'm saying that right. No, Virgo is not done yet. We're on our way. Virgo's got a ways to go before we get to Virgo. Okay. Here we go. Good morning, cold as fire, hot as ice. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Here we go. Archangel Michael is being joined by the High Priestess. Daniel is being joined by the Movement card. Rochelle is being joined by the Goblin. And Chantal is being joined by the Forgiveness card. Okay, Capricorn. Archangel Michael, in this particular incarnation, asks us to have the courage to make our life changes. And here we have the High Priestess. This has been a year where I have felt like Capricorn was becoming more emotive, more aware of their emotional and intuitive bodies, less earthbound. So here I want to offer an opportunity for Capricorn to really step into the version and vision of what they want in their love life. And I think that is, I've got Daniel, the angel of marriage, and Chantal, the romance angel. So this is really about having the courage to step into a version of yourself that you may have experienced or may not have experienced, but it's a higher vibration. We have Daniel, the angel of marriage, in the opportunity and or the obstacle, and we have the Movement card. This is really an opportunity for Daniel. Talks about bringing a partner in, but many of you will have a partner. Many of you are already in a relationship. So I feel like this is really about you, Capricorn, being able to go into a higher version of your intimate bodies, a more aligned version of connection. I think that that's where we're going, because here we have, now this is a little bit of a challenging dynamic. In the Angel's Advice, we have the Ego card and we have Rochelle. This is almost the opposite. This is like following my heart, and this is my head screaming at me going, are you sure? How can you get it? You've never experienced it. It's never been there. Do you see it? No, it's not there. This is a big deal right now because the movement will come. The part that when I say movement, I mean if you're in an existing relationship, the connection, the deeper connection will move, spirits moving and aligning to that. And if you have not been in a relationship and you're inviting in a relationship, this is really an opportunity to step into the highest version of that relationship that you want. Because in the final position, we have Chantal, the angel of romance, and we have the Forgiveness card. I don't believe in forgiveness. This is reconciliation. This is where a rocky road makes sense to me and I'm empowered by it. And here is Chantal. This is the opportunity for new romance to come in, or the resurgence of romance, a greater connection. I've been shown by Spirit quite in the last couple of years. They've been giving me this feeling that the choices we make in partnerships are being elevated to a place of greater authenticity. No longer are people choosing one another for security or for material security is the only way I really want to put it. We're choosing our partners for the energies they bring in, the support of our dreams. So I feel like what I'm looking at here for Capricorn on this particular full moon is sort of the ending of any illusions that you cannot have what it is that you want, and then using this trine aspect between Neptune and Jupiter to pull the higher vibrations. Neptune is a very spiritual planet, as is Jupiter. Everybody knows Jupiter rules spirituality. So I feel like when you use the opposition of the moon and Neptune to illuminate whatever has been the illusions that you have lived under, and then allow yourself, and the illusion, it could be this, it doesn't mean the partner is negative. It could be something within yourself where you haven't been able to feel like you could open up. And now having the courage to move into that space of depth, and it will make sense. Your relationships will become sweeter. They'll become richer. They'll become supportive of where you want to go. That's kind of what I wanted, how I want to say it. Okay. Okay. You know, Elizabeth, I think we can all be our own worst enemy. And I feel like this is also how we can also be our own best friend, because the ego sometimes gets a little out of control. You know, it'll start to crawl up our dreams and start to really ask us if we deserve the things that we want. But when we look at our ego and we don't villainize it, but rather bring it into cooperation, it's almost like the little child having a tantrum inside of us. That's how I think of my ego. And before I do the show every week, I always say a prayer, and I ask my ego to step aside so that spirit may step through with clear, detailed, and accurate information. I think the honoring of the ego helps align myself to my higher vibrations. Okay. Stephen, turning 50 was so jarring. And let me tell you, I'm still adjusting to the idea of being 60. I can't even believe that I'm 60 years old. And then every once in a while, I wake up and my foot my foot aches for no reason. And I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay. But you know what? I'd rather be getting older than not be here at all. This is very exciting times on this planet. I know right now it's really disruptive. Got a lot of people freaking out over coronavirus and politics and all these things. But I think if we can sort of push away all of the outside noise and line up to our deeper truths, then we start this momentum. We start this energy that then invites in likeness. So I feel like in some ways, when we look at all of this disruptive energy, it's kind of like the caterpillar breaking through the cocoon. Okay. I love the Smashing Pumpkins. I haven't heard them in a while. Okay, here we go. We're going on to our dun 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 Sagittarius. And before I go, and I'm sorry about this with the timestamps, everybody, I want to talk a little bit more about the pets crossing over, because it's kind of in large numbers. I've been hearing about it, and I want to offer it this way, because sometimes when a pet crosses over, it allows us to emote in a way we wouldn't allow ourselves to emote. So if indeed you've been soldiering through some emotions that you kind of pushed aside, it's almost one of these things where it's like, it's all right, I'm good. It's all right, I'm good. And then an animal will trigger and allow for the release of that challenging emotion. So I want to offer it that way. Anyway, I hate losing a pet. Okay. I know. I think we should all say a quick prayer for the animals that crossed over. I know that they're fine, but the hole that it leaves in the human heart is so challenging. I'm sorry, Violet. There's another person. Yes, it's just really, I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. Sagittarius, our first angel is Merlina. The second is Yvonne. The third is Archangel Uriel. And the final is Bridget. Oh, Kit Kat, I'm sorry to hear about the loss of your cat, but how fortunate that you would have him or her for 20 years. I too was fortunate to have my Emmett for most of my cats lived to be in their late teens, which I'm super lucky about. Yes, Faith, exactly. Will take the hit for you. Exactly, saving you. I totally get it. Okay. Here we go. Sagittarius. Merlina is being joined by the cat. Yvonne's being joined by the perception card. Archangel Uriel's being joined by the raven. And Bridget's being joined by the goblin. Okay. So this is just a little bit challenging. Nikki has news. Okay. After Sagittarius, we want to hear your news because I want to pay attention. Okay. Sagittarius, Merlina says you're confused and indecisive because you don't have enough information. And here is the cat. The cat talks about healthy boundaries. It talks about independence. It's interesting to me because here we are really in the chat talking about cats, about losing cats, about how our pets sometimes take a hit for us so that we can emotionally come back into balance. And here we have Yvonne, represents having a way with animals. Normally, I think of Yvonne as a card of vulnerability because I've never been a mom to a human person. I've always been a mom to cats. I had cats for years. Lucky's my first dog. So I kind of think there's something interesting about this because here we have the perception card. And I feel like it's through our animals that we're learning to have a new perception of things. Maybe even giving life to a new life, 9 lives. Cats have 9 lives. Because for Sagittarius, in the angel's advice, Archangel Uriel talks about frustration. And the raven is about timing. It's about magic. And magic to me is alignment. It's alignment between my emotional body and my mental body into where I want to go. Because in the final position is the ego and Bridget saying that to look deeper into a situation. And what I think is going on here is that the confusion that Merlina is talking about could potentially be for Sagittarius is looking at a situation. Is it really what you want, or is it a version of what you want, but not quite? It's like getting a steak, or I shouldn't say that, so many vegetarians in my crowd. It's like getting a meal and having it be lukewarm instead of nice and hot. And I feel like that's what this is about for Sagittarius. I don't know if I think that you're confused as much as I think that there's a new life coming. There's a 9th life coming that you can't see. And now it's time to be vulnerable to a bigger picture because it's been a timing issue. And often when we are creating something, we only see our own efforts. We don't realize that there are other people, other places, other dynamics that need to come into the co-creation of it. So that's what I want to say for Sagittarius this week. This full moon could be the ending of something that is just slightly, it's aligned, but it's not aligned in depth. That's what I kind of want to put it. It's like the shallow version, or it's like a bowl of vanilla ice cream. It needs some chocolate syrup or some whipped cream or some things to jazz it up a little bit. So Spirit is that's part of their job right now is to bring in those elements that will jazz it up. I feel choppy right now. All that animal death has got me going off. Okay. Elizabeth, you have a stellium in Sag. That's awesome. I want to say, because I really played at the Jupiter dynamic to that angelic realm. I don't go to the foreign places, the higher knowledge in the sense of like university. I really think of it as a opportunity to really connect with my intuitive body. Okay. Congratulate. So I'm assuming that you are pregnant right now, Elizabeth? Yes? Because that's pretty cool. Stephen, yes, your job needs a change, but I think it's time for you to start teaching astrology and start playing around with that. Firestarter Stuart, oh wow, in the 5th house, that's cool. Okay, I'm going to go on to my Scorpios. Lucky's digging in his bed. Oh, he's almost 3 now. Oh, that's beautiful. Nikki, congratulations. You have a 2-bedroom apartment. That is awesome. You know, that's a great lesson for us all. Nikki was going through a really challenging time with her home and finding a place, a sanctuary. And now she's found one. And I believe Spirit brings us, sometimes when there's a pause, it's because Spirit is bringing us into a place that is much more in alignment with what it is we want to foster in our lives. So congratulations to Nikki. Oh, Debbie, I'm sorry to hear that you were in the hospital. I hope you're feeling better now. Okay, let's go on to our Scorpios. We go backwards, everybody. I started at Pisces, and I'm working my way towards Aries. This is very exciting for Nikki. She's been waiting for this housing for quite some time. Okay. Let's see what's up for Scorpio this week. Hi, Vicki. Welcome. Hi, bomb.com. All right. Our first angel for Scorpio rising is Ray. The second is Athena. The third is Opal. And the final is Serena. Knock out some old energy. Okay. Scorpio, Ray is being joined by the partnership card. Athena is being joined by the wind fairy. Opal's being joined by the cat. And Serena is being joined by the lady of the lake. Okay, here we go. So here we see Ray. It's funny because Ray on the face of the card will talk about yoga and exercise being essential for your well-being. I look at her and I see Ray in a meditative position where she is connecting her power chakra with her third eye. It's flanked by a green stripe and a blue stripe. This to me is really about connecting with Spirit. And there's the partnership card. And when I first looked at this, I thought, is this about partnership outside of Scorpio, or is this partnership inside of Scorpio? Their connection with Spirit, their partnership with their guides and their team. And I want to offer it this way because I feel like for Scorpio, I want to put it this way. I feel like this is an obstacle. I feel like my mind, the wind fairy, has become a bit of an obstacle to me moving my story forward. And that's where I go back to the partnership with Spirit, where I go and I'm literally sit in meditation with my wants and desires. And I'm thanking Spirit for facilitating that experience. Because in the angel's advice, we have Opal, which says that your children are safe on heaven and earth and being cared for by God and the angels. And then we have the cat, which is about healthy boundaries. And again, this to me is about 9 lives. So I want to offer it this way because Scorpio, I feel like this is about your inner child, and maybe you want to have children. Maybe you're of that age where you want to actually start a family. But for me, This is more about the dreams and desires. It's bigger than just giving birth to a child. It's giving birth to an experience in life. Because in the final position, we have Serena, the angel of abundance. And if you look at her, she's super calm, super chill. And then here's the Lady of the Lake. And she talks about courage, courage to speak my truth, to live my truth. And if you look at it, she's got this very tumultuous waters. You can see the water dripping off of Excalibur as she comes up out of the lake. Water represents our emotional bodies. It represents our intuitive bodies. So for Scorpio, which is a water sign ruled by Pluto, I feel like this is really about coming into partnership with your spirit guides. That my opportunity this week is to trust that my mind only takes me so far. My mind is the mind. The mind is the house where the ego lives. The mind is the house where fear lives. The mind is where we can be empowered by those challenging dynamics without fear, without, frustration, without the tenacity to move through blocks. We would never know the exhilaration of accomplishment, of achievement, of our dreams coming true. So I feel like for Scorpio this week, getting out of your head, your connection with spirit, and then your willingness to, in some ways, surrender what's happening right now. The full moon is going to be the end of something. It doesn't necessarily have to be the end of a relationship or the end of a job. It could be the end of you're pushing yourself so hard thinking you have to make things happen. This could be the end of frustration because you're coming into alignment with spirit and realizing that it's a combination of your heart and your head that are going to make things happen. So here we give 9 lives to our dreams. We start a whole new potential. And that is with the courage to step into that truth and know that it is that connection with spirit. I would like to think that somehow I have managed to live on my own and work for myself for the last 6.5 years because I put forth all this effort. But I don't think that's true. I think the only effort I really had to put forth was believing in myself enough to trust the subtle nudges that I would get from spirit. And one of them was to come on Lotta's channel. One of them was to say, I'm an angel therapy practitioner. I'm not an astrologer. I dabble in astrology. I study astrology. But I got an urge from spirit to reach out to Lotta to pitch myself to be on this channel. I was like, are you guys crazy? Well, why would she pick me? Why? But I had to be brave. This is part of what I'm talking about. This is the partnership to spirit. It's to trust the subtle yearnings and then giving yourself the courage to move towards them when spirit knocks on your door. Okay, we're going on to our Libras. Here we go. All right, and in between, I just want to announce, for those of you that just came in the room, welcome Stephen Stanel. Welcome Tanya. I missed somebody else. Mickey Q, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to do a recap. I pulled 4 numbers this week because I really just wanted more winners, and we got 3 out of 4 winners. So Oil Painter won in the live chat with number 477. We had Nirvana Flux win with number 82 in the live chat. We had no winner with the number 230. And then we had a Brianna win with the number 23. So you've got a few more weeks of this game and then we're retiring it. And no, I have not done Virgo yet. I'm working my way backwards. I'm on Libra and then I'll go to Virgo. Okay. Welcome, Jean. So happy for you to be here. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm here on Lotta's channel every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. with messages from your angels. Shelly, we'll be putting a recap of the numbers that are out of play in the comments sometime later today. You might want to check back tomorrow. I kind of have a full schedule, so I'm going to have a tough time getting to them expeditiously, but we'll see. All right, here we go, Libra. That's Libra rising, Libra moon, Libra sun, and Libra stelliums. Yeah, it's a lot of numbers. That's why we're ending the game too. Hello, Elizabeth Johnson. So wonderful to see you. Okay. Libra, here we go. First angel is Patience. The second is Isabella. The third is Caressa. And the final is Serafina. 727 is out of play. The numbers are between 2 and 500. Okay, Libra. Joining the Patience card is okay. Joining the Patience card is the Swan. Joining Isabella is the Fear card. Joining Caressa is the Movement card. And joining Serafina is the Raven. This is very interesting. So, patience is never about sitting on an egg. Patience is about assimilating. It's about observing. It's about paying attention to the energies around me. And I want to say this for Libra because Libra is the balancer. Libra is the assessor, right? So this is what this is about. And then we have the Swan because this is about transformation. And it's about transformation. There are many cards of transformation within this deck here, this Camelot deck. But there are various forms of transformation. And this is about trusting my intuitive gifts. This is about, I've been doing this work for so long. I mean, even as a teen, in some ways, I trusted my intuitive gifts. I trusted this weird inner knowing sometimes, even though it didn't make sense. And I feel like that's what's going on for Libra, because Libra is the judge. Libra is the, represents the legal system. It represents fairness. So to me, this is not just assessing an energy, but it's also allowing for the transformation of that energy. Because in the opportunity or the obstacle, interestingly enough, is the Fear card coupled with Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. I think this is where the Fear card is sort of more akin to fear, the acronym false evidence appearing real. I feel like that's part of what is going on because the Patience card is asking you to trust something you can't see, trusting an intuition. And so this is where I feel like Isabella is saying that the fear can empower you here, Libra. Fear can actually be your friend. It can be the thing that propels you in some respects into trusting a bigger experience as you move forward. Because in the angel's advice is Caressa saying you're at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you. And there's the Movement card. So to me, the movement is being able to look at fear from a new perspective rather than seeing fear as something like, I mean, look, if you put me on the top of a high place, I'm going to be scared. If you put me in a burning building, I'm going to be scared. Those are physical things to be scared of. But oftentimes the human is scared of things that their mind is making up, that they're thinking about, that they're projecting out. And that's what I think Spirit is talking about, is false evidence appearing real. And now is the time to start to pay attention to that, to ask yourself, Libra, is this happening right now? No, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just projecting out what could potentially happen. So in the final position, we have Serafina saying there's a happy change to our family. And then we have the Raven. The Raven is about magic, coincidence, and synchronistic events. So we go back to our beginning. The beginning is patience, asking us to observe from an intuitive place. And then here we find that when we start to observe from an intuitive place, we understand that sometimes there is there is more happening than we can see. And in that way, we start to trust and start to feel more. The alignment brings a sense of peace, which brings a sense of happiness, which brings a sense of being supported from a bigger place. I hope that makes sense. Yes, backwards is the new normal here on my show. I start at Pisces and I move my way towards Aries. I started this a few Mercury retrogrades ago and it just sort of stuck. And I think because of all the other people that post videos going in order, I just kind of decided to be different. I have Uranus in the 5th house of Leo. Expect the unexpected with me. Okay. Okay, here we go. We're going on to Virgo now. Oh, goodness, Debbie. We'll send some prayers out for you to be feeling much better now. Yes, Stephen, I'm a little backwards here. I like to keep you on your toes. Okay. Here we go, Virgo. That's Virgo rising, Virgo moon, Virgo sun, and Virgo stelliums. Okay. Our first angel is Chantal. Our second is Athena. The third is Bridget. And the final is Akasha. Welcome, Michelle. And welcome, Firestarter Stewart. Good to see you. Welcome, Vicky. Like everybody? Think so? Okay. Chantal is being joined by the dog. Ooh. Athena's being joined by the Focus card. Bridget's being joined by the King. And Akasha's being joined by the Serpent. Wow. I just got chills everywhere for you, Virgo. All right. Chantal is the angel of romance. The dog is all about unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity. I think this is about love, Virgo. And I want to say it this way, because I don't think this is about self-love. I think this is about love outside of yourself. So I want to offer it this way. If indeed you're currently in a romance or you've been married, you've been in a relationship, this talks about the resurgence of romance. And this dog card is this is a beautiful combination. It's a combination, and I want to put it this way, Virgo, because I know many of you are not in relationships. I mean, Lotta has got a huge audience. So we're going to be talking about various dynamics within love. But what I feel like, because I'm going to go to the 4th position, I feel like Akasha and the Serpent are offering us an opportunity to learn from love and okay, this is how I want to put it. There is, within Virgo right now, this week, I feel like there's a couple things going on. If you have been in a relationship for a long time, there's the potential of a resurgence of connection. It doesn't mean sex. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh, yay, we're going to be, bumping and grinding. It means an appreciation of valuing somebody else's energy within my life. If you're single, I believe it's time for Virgo to start to concentrate on that kind of love coming into your life versus being, oh my God, so practical that, if I don't see it, it doesn't happen. Because Athena is saying it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself and to focus in on what you want. And I feel like when I see the King in this angel's advice, this is about a partner. And Bridget is saying to look deeper. And this is about faith that partnership will come in. And then we go back to Akasha. This is the Teacher card, and this is shedding a skin. So for Virgo, you have the potential of being able to teach others because you have allowed for this resurgence or the resurgence of your belief in love, inviting love in. If for some reason you have not been in a relationship and you are of a certain age, I want to offer it this way, because Spirit has shown me that many people that are a little bit more seasoned on the planet are going to be activated into some of the greatest chapters of their life, because we are rewriting how we age. We're no longer, putting ourselves out to pasture. We're no longer, obsolete after 40. This is, 40 is the new 20 and 60 is the new 40, etc., etc. So, for my Virgos, I feel like this is an opportunity with this full moon to put an intention out there of wanting to really, truly experience love in however it looks for you, however it feels for you. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and we've known each other our whole lives. And about, 6 or 7 years ago, we joked around and said, well, if in 2020, let's get married. And we're, of course, not going to do that. But here it's 2020 rolled around. And I was teasing him. I said, well, we can get married, but you still have to live next door because I don't want to live with anybody. And we were just kind of laughing. So this is about rewriting your love life. It's about empowering yourself, Virgo, to think about how you want to be loved and to admit that you want to be loved. And in doing so, to focus on that it's possible and that it will be somebody aligned to you that would agree with you. My friend that I was talking to, he said the same thing. He'd be more than happy to live next door. We'll just come together, hang out, and then see you later. Anyway, all right, I'm going to go on to Leo. Did I see Oil Painter in the room? Oil Painter, you won this week. That's the way she's stuck with her numbers. 477. Oil Painter, you are a winner. So send me an email during this week and we will schedule your reading. Same thing with Nirvana Flux. She won. I don't know why I'm assuming it's a she. But anyway, Nirvana Flux won with 82. And then Brianna won with 23. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. On to our Leos. Where was your coffee, Oil Paint? I'm not Oil Painters. Small Wildflowers, where was your coffee? Okay, here we go. Okay, cool. Awesome. I will check Skype later. I'm on Skype. If you're a winner and you want to connect with me on Skype, or it's Teri92651 is my name. Oh my goodness. You know what I did the other day? I opened a lime bag with the scissors. And then I went and I was looking, I'm like, what did I do with those scissors? What did I do with those scissors? I walked all around my apartment for like 10 minutes. And then I thought, no, I did not. I did not put them in the refrigerator. I opened the refrigerator door and there were the scissors. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I'm a nut. Okay, I got to start paying attention to things when I'm always multitasking in some way. All right. Leo, here we go. Leo, this is Leo rising, Leo's moon, Leo's sun, and Leo's stelliums. Our first angel is Vanessa. Our second is Adriana. Our third is Rosetta. And the final is Archangel Gabriel. Vanessa always represents faith over fear, which is in the title of this show. This full moon in Virgo is in opposition to Neptune, which is also, Neptune is sextiling Jupiter. So this is really an opportunity to exercise faith in what it is we want to experience versus all the stories of how we could get tripped up. I have been listening to some faith. I've been listening to quite a bit of meditation. I think what part of the challenge is that I work from home. I live alone. The only person I talk to is my dog. And sometimes I'm like doing multiple things at once. And I can't tell you how often I go looking for my eyeglasses and they're on the top of my head. Vanessa's being joined by the High Priestess. Adriana's being joined by the Love card. Ooh. Rosetta's being joined by the Fear card. And Archangel Gabriel is being joined by Merlin. Okay. This is pretty cool. So, Leo, faith over fear. What are you going to choose? And I really want to say it this way because I have been feeling like this is Leo. There, you represent the fifth house. You represent fun. You represent creative genius. You represent children, yes, but I feel like this is really about you, your version of what you want for yourself, and exercising that faith in yourself, because I'm going to go to the final position. Archangel Gabriel says to turn over any insecurities you have to her, and Merlin is about balance, alchemy, and justice. So I want to offer you this. While there is a bit of pressure in this dynamic, there is an opportunity for you to start to realize and see here on this earth plane the kind of things that you want to experience and the goals that you have, the dreams that you have, because Adriana is leading you to the answers to your prayers through those subtle nudges. And there is the Love card. And I don't think this is about intimate love. I think this is sort of about what you want to experience in your own personal creativity, in your own personal birthing of something from inside of yourself. Because I say that because I have Rosetta in the Angel's Advice, and I have the Fear card here. And these two are in relationship. This is my opportunity and or my obstacle, and this is the Angel's Advice. This is again where the Fear card is really turning into that acronym, false evidence appearing real, and Spirit asking you to have a childlike innocence as they lead you towards what it is you want. Because this is big for Leo this week, having faith in the bigger version of what you want in yourself, because it's about to manifest. And I can't help but thinking, I keep having the vision of one of my clients who wants to get into a creative profession. And when I say creative, I talk acting, singing, being an artist, where you are making money being creative. And these are, in the past, we've considered these things sort of pipe dreams, only certain people get to make a living doing what they love. I think that's changing. I think that's part of why this world is so disruptive right now, because we're breaking away old fear-based structures and we're moving into loving-based structures. So I want to offer that for my Leos this week, you may feel a sense of pressure. You may feel a little bit of a push-pull. Do I believe in myself? Don't I believe in myself? Fall on the side of I believe on myself, and let Spirit support that. Let them give you evidence that you have every right to believe in yourself, because as you believe in that, they will bring the physical confirmation. That's the word I want to use in order to help you, give you a leg up to continue to move forward with what you love. Okay, on to Cancer. Okay, what are we doing? You found your keys in your own hand. That's funny. Isn't that funny? Okay. Oh my goodness. Small waffles. Did you put your phone in the refrigerator? That would be funny. Especially if it started to ring. Okay, here we go. On to our Cancers. All right, Firestarter Stewart. Yay, I'm so happy when Spirit is able to confirm for you through these messages. All right. So I'm gonna, as I'm shuffling for my Cancers right now, I want to offer this because I see Ritu Rana ask when she's going to get a job. I'm assuming, again, sounds like a female name to me, Ritu. I might be wrong. I want to offer this. as I read your question, I almost felt like, do you really just want a job or do you want your dream job? Because that's what that's what this week is about, is being able to step into that faith that I can actually achieve bigger heights of self-satisfaction and make money to pay my bills. That's where I'm going with that. So, you know, if you're looking for a job just to pay your bills, you may find a little bit of a choppy road. It may be more, you know, zigs and zags, because Spirit is asking you to step up your game and not just imagine that you can get a job that will pay your bills, but also a job that you will love and will bring more fulfillment to your heart. Okay, here we go. It would be funny to hear your refrigerator ringing. And then you would have to get your phone out so you could take a picture of your phone in your refrigerator ringing. Okay. On to our Cancers. Here we go. Cancer Ascendant, Cancer Moon, Cancer Sun, and Cancer Stelliums. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Maya. The third is Ray. And the final is Athena. Okay. Okay, I will say all Cancers will win the lottery. But you know, when you say that, Spa Zip, you're kind of saying, like, you know, you could only win $1. So this is where we have to be really clear about our intentions, because when we win the lottery, we want to win millions, right? I want to win that money that comes like Publishers Clearinghouse. I want to win $5,000 a week for the rest of my life. Here we go, Cancer. Caressa is being joined by the Truth card. Maya is being joined by the Goblin. The Dragon is joining Ray. And Athena is joining, the Swan is joining Athena. All right. So Caressa talks about being at the end of a life cycle, that new happiness awaits you. And we have the Truth card. This has been coming up so much lately, because this truth is not about, it's the subjective truth. It's your truth. It's not anybody else's truth. And so I feel like when Caressa is saying you're coming to the end of a life cycle, I feel like this is not about an actual ending of anything. It's about the beginning of your truth. And I say that because when I go in the final position, I have Athena and the Swan. Athena is about lovingly asserting myself, and there's the Swan is about intuitive transformation, trusting my intuitive body, my energetic body, trusting the light being that I really am, not the physical human that I think I am in this lifetime. Because I feel like on some level, Cancer, you know, not every single one of you is a parent, but Cancer rules the nurturing aspect. It rules the moon. It rules the family. And I feel like on some level, on an unconscious level, Cancer tends to think of the pack. They tend to think of the group. And it's not that we don't want to think of the group, but maybe in always considering the group, the needs of the individual have been pushed aside, left aside. And I feel like for my Cancers, there's a little bit of you that wants to be seen as the individual. Are you still willing to be part of the pack and be part of the team? Absolutely. But your contribution is what I feel like has been somehow, it's been, I keep seeing fog or a blanket, things like almost as if people are so used to you being nurturing that the amount of nurturing you're doing is not getting the recognition that it deserves. Because you have, in the opportunity, the obstacle, we have Maya, the card of schooling and education, and the ego card. And that is in direct relation to the Dragon, which is again about power and strength, and Ray. Ray is the connection to the angelic realm. So let me kind of round this up for what I'm seeing for Cancer. This full moon, okay, is in opposition to Neptune. Neptune rules deception. It rules fantasy. It rules, it can be erosive in some ways. So I feel like taking the higher vibrations of Neptune, the more spiritual aspects, and going deeper into your truth of what you want. Do you want to be part of a pack and be part of a family and a team that moves a story forward? Yes. But do you also want your individual contribution to every once in a while be acknowledged? Yes. I think that's true. And I think it's okay for that. So I feel like for this week, using this full moon to say it's not selfish to want to be validated. It's not selfish to want to be supported. It's not selfish to want a pat on the back. That's what I feel like for my Cancers. It's almost as if you've been going through this period of time where I don't want to say people are taking advantage of you, but or taking you for granted, but in some ways they may be. So now this is a week where you see yourself and acknowledge yourself and say, you know what? I deserve as much recognition as the next person, and it doesn't make me boastful. It doesn't make me selfish. It just makes me feel good to be validated. Okay. We're going to go on to our Geminis. Brianna, you're a winner this week. I pulled 4 numbers and we had 3 out of 4 winners. It's unprecedented. And Brianna, you won in the live chat with 2323. And all 3 of my winners have shown up on today's show. I'm so excited. So Nirvana Flux is reaching out to me. Brianna, reach out to me. And Oil Painter, and we'll schedule your 3 free half hours. That's 1 each, not 3 each. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to go on to our Geminis. Oh, no. Oh, Barbara, wow. That's really a beautiful, sad story. But, I guess, when we love, I've often heard of people who had pets, and when they found their life partner and started to create their own family, some of those pets crossed over. Sometimes they don't, but they're chapters. Oh, good. I like to hear they're all pretty old. That makes me happy. Okay, we're going on to our Geminis. I know it's like there's a collective of winners this week. It made me so excited when I watched the live chat. Okay. Whoop. Gemini. Here we go. Gemini, that's rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Maya. The second is Athena. The third is Merlina, and the final is Serena. All right, here we go. All right, well, the eagle jumped out, so we're going to join that with Maya. Athena's being joined by the perception card. Merlina's being joined by the swan. And the forgiveness card is joining Serena. Oh. Okay. Maya talks about schooling and education. And oftentimes, we could think of it as traditional education, our going to school, going to university, but I rarely see it that way. For me, it's really an energetic education. It's how I'm learning how spirit, the connection to the angelic realm as represented by the eagle, is really it's, to me, I can go and get any sort of schooling and education. I can learn to be a doctor. I could learn to be a lawyer, but it is my belief in myself that is going to really dictate my experiences. And that's what I believe is here for Gemini. Gemini, you're represented by the twins. Most Gemini energies that I encounter are really good at weighing both sides, more so than Libra. that I've noticed. They can go from one side of the situation to the other side of the situation and boomerang back again. And here in our opportunity or obstacle, we have the perception card and Athena saying it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself in your perception. Because I don't think that Gemini will experience validation in the physical world until they experience an interior validation of their own intuitions. So, and I say that because there's the swan, trusting my psychic gifts, and Merlin is about confusion and not having enough information. And I think that's in direct relation to your perception. So when you step back and allow spirit to give you a new experience, which will educate you, then your abundance will make sense. This is where the reconciliation comes in. This is where forgiveness comes in. So let me, excuse me, round this out. I believe that the title of this show is Faith Over Fear. I believe that is one of Gemini's life paths, is faith over fear. It's being able to see what's happening in the physical world and knowing from a deep intuitive level that you're creating from your belief body, not your action body. So it's a be, do, have. The being energy. What is my belief? What is my attitude? What is my disposition? What is my perception of the situation as I endeavor my actions? I believe that the opportunity of this full moon for my Geminis is to look at where you've been taking action really based on fear. And that's where the Neptune moon opposition comes into play. And rather than taking those actions to stave off a negative experience or something I don't want, I'm going to use the sextile between Jupiter and Neptune to go to a higher level of connection to spirit, to start to anchor in the experience that I want of abundance in all areas of my life, which will then help me to make sense of what spirit is teaching me through my intuitive body. I hope that this is making sense, because I feel like for Gemini, if you try to take actions based on fear, you're going to get a block and another block and another block, and it's going to start to make the fear swell or circle or whatever this motion is I'm doing. And in doing so, you can start to go in the wash cycle. No. Step back. Say to spirit, thank you for giving me an experience that will then support my trusting my intuitive body. Trusting that if I don't see it, it doesn't mean nothing's happening. Sometimes things are happening. Oftentimes, all the time, things are happening and we can't quite see what's going on. Later today, I have a couple of clients. My afternoon is full. And when one particular person booked, she said she was referred by another person. I didn't have that person in my database. Not everybody wants to, get my emails. So I don't force it on them. So it occurs to me often that things are happening when I don't know about it. People are having conversations about me and about my work, and then the call comes in. So for Gemini, this is really an opportunity in this full moon to release or let go of having to see it to believe it, and starting to implement a deeper intuitive knowing. I really believe something good's coming. I really believe that I've been aligned to a bigger picture of what I want. And in that alignment, God is in charge of how it will happen. Okay, that's where I'm going. On to my Tauruses. Okay. Oh my goodness. So small wildflowers, do you have a cold? Are you not feeling well physically? Thibaut, I think that's absolutely possible. I think, this is, I was talking to an astrologer about birth times, and he was kind of he really wanted to be correct and know the exact time of birth. And I said to him, I don't know if any of us have an exact time of birth, because if you think about it, even back in the days, every birth, the people supporting the birth take care of bringing the child in, swaddling the child, cleaning the child. I don't know exactly when they look up at the clock. So is the child been on the earth plane for 2 minutes before they look up at the clock and write down the time of birth? And I say that not because I want to throw my time of birth out, but I give it a little wiggle room. Sometimes there's things in my chart that seem too good to be true. And I've had my chart done in Vedic and in Western, and they tell me things about myself, and I'm like, well, that's cool. I wish I felt that powerful, but so I just want to throw a little wiggle room out there. So you trust yourself on your intuitive body more than you trust structure sometimes. And God, that sounds bad to say, but I have to give a little wobble, a little wiggle room, a little bit of a fuzz. Okay. Okay, everybody's feeling a little funky, and I can only imagine how that might be triggering, all this stuff on the news. You guys, I want to say I'm not a doctor, but I have been just really taking care of putting a lot of good vitamin C inside of me, and making sure I'm eating things that fuel my body, don't just feed my body. So, all right, here we go. Taurus. That's Taurus rising, Taurus moon, Taurus sun, and Taurus stelliums. Our first angel is Chantal. The second is Aurora. The third is Athena. And the final is Archangel Uriel. Joining Chantal is the King. Joining Aurora is the Grail Knight. Ooh. Joining Athena is the Letting Go card. And joining Archangel Uriel is the Queen. Oh, Taurus, this is all about love. And as I say that, I'm a Taurus moon, you guys. I don't have any love anywhere near me to be. So I'm kind of surprised, but okay. So here we have the King and Chantal. Chantal talks about either a new romance coming in or the resurgence of a current romance. And the King is really a karmic card for me. It represents law. It represents justice. In many ways, it represents, to me, a contract in some ways, my own personal contract with myself, with my soul in this experience. So I want to say it this way, and I'm going to go to the final position. Taurus may be frustrated. Okay, that's what Archangel Uriel represents: frustration, anger, and unforgiveness. And then we have the King and the Queen. If indeed Taurus is in a partnership and you've been going through a little bit of a challenging time because Saturn and Pluto have been bringing up all the crap in your relationship, I believe that this is an opportunity right now for you to allow for a resurgence, allow for a do-over. And I don't mean this in a way where I'm not paying attention to the patterns in a relationship, but if I keep focusing in on the patterns, how am I going to move past them? It's like scratching a sore. You're never going to get that sore to heal if you keep picking at the scab. So I feel like the Queen is representing being more receptive and also paying attention to what is frustrating me, because in the opportunity or the obstacle is a really yummy energy. In Aurora, saying you're flying high right now, don't descend. You may threaten others, but that's because you're thinking outside the box. And then the Grail Knight is about romance. It's about seeking the sacred. It's also about illusion. So I want to say for my Tauruses, your deepest truth, that's what, this is what the Grail Knight is bowing down to: Excalibur, the sword of truth. Okay. And this is where you're flying high. I feel like there's a deeper thing going on here. so choppy right now. Athena in the Angel's Advice talks about lovingly asserting myself. And then here is the letting go card. This is not about letting go. This is the song Let It Go from the first movie Frozen. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits, to break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Taurus, if you are not in a relationship, I believe that what this spread is saying is to turn over your frustrations, that a relationship is coming, but you must feel like the queen or king in your relationship. And I think that is what Aurora and the Grail Knight are talking about. Taurus, are you allowing any illusions to drive the bus of your romance? So you're in a relationship where you're not feeling fueled, you're not feeling inspired, you're not feeling supported, and yet you're pushing on that relationship to try to make it be what you want it to be. I feel like this is about not pushing anymore. It's about almost stepping back and saying to spirit, if this relationship, or if the relationship I don't want to go two places at once. You're in a relationship, Taurus. If you're in a relationship and that relationship is not quite where you want it to be, quit pushing on it. Quit trying to make it be what you want it to be, and start to observe how that energy is coming towards you and how it's making you feel. Because if indeed it is making you feel frustrated, it's time for you to sit back and allow spirit to karmically correct this situation. If Taurus is not in a relationship like me and has not been in a relationship for a long time, this is really about me starting to karmically believe that in a deeper way, okay? Because there's the belief where I go, oh yeah, someday I'll be in a relationship, and every time I think about it, it's someday, out there, out there, out there. It's going to stay out there. So for those of you that are single, this is time to really bow down to the deeper truth and to break the box of thought. You know what? Maybe it was out there at one point, but now I want it right in here. And this is where I start to allow these fears to empower me. Okay, I'm done being frustrated and I am ready to receive. Today is National Women's Day, and I started the broadcast saying that when it comes to genders, I have kind of an interesting viewpoint, because I don't really think of men and women as the way most people do. I think of them as cooperative components that support the human experience. And when we stand in our cooperation of our differences, rather than villainizing each other for our differences, then we stand in a more rich and savory and inspired relationship, I guess is the way I want to put it. So for my Tauruses, being authentic rather than, I want to put it this way, being authentic as to whether your heart is being filled, and rather than villainizing the other side, whether it's someone who's not there, like I'm villainizing, I've never had a relationship, so it's never going to happen, so it's not, blah blah blah, or I'm in a relationship and it's not right, and I'm making that person the bad guy because they're not what I want. I feel like this is about being a little bit more authentic with myself and saying, why am I expecting an apple to be an orange? Why don't I just go for the orange if that's what I want, and let the apple be what it is? I hope that made sense. Because I feel like Taurus is frustrating themselves a little bit. So, okay. I believe that the soul has no gender. I believe the soul has preference to gender. It enjoys certain experiences that each gender offers. But I also believe that the soul chooses the opposite experience. So let's say that the soul likes being in the female body. It will occasionally choose to be in the male body just for the contrasting experiences, for the balance of it. So when we come into this earthly experience, and we as light workers here giving ourselves an opportunity to look at the genders as vibrations, as cooperative components that bring us together, that facilitate this earthly experience for the evolution of our soul. And that evolution is really about being able to come under the veil and be our authentic selves and that authentic creator. When I think about the soul, I really do believe that we love to paint and sing and dance and celebrate, and these are our natural vibrations. And then we get into this earthly experience and we start to think, oh, I need to take care of myself. We need to support the structure of government, the structure of the human dynamic, and we get lost. So when I say lost, I mean lost in supporting our overhead, supporting our wallet, supporting our, what was that song? Everybody's working for the weekend. No, it's the opposite. We're revolutionizing ourselves from that. We're as souls coming into this earthly experience so that we no longer need to work for a weekend, that every day that we are expressing our unique selves, we're enjoying the work that we're doing. We're enjoying the creation. Okay, that's where I'm going. Going on to our final sign, Aries. That's Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon, and Aries stelliums. Barbara, having all that Taurus energy is really it's an interesting dynamic because vibrationally it can make her obviously very stubborn, and but it can also transformed, can make her very powerful in her. I always think of Taurus. I've got an Aries rising, so I'm in the natural birth chart. So the second house for me, while it represents possessions, money, and things like that, I always see it as my self-worth. And so there's a lot of opportunity your daughter has to step into her real truth and allow herself that privilege of that authenticity. That's how I want to put it. Okay. All right, here we go. Aries rising, Aries moon, Aries sun, and Aries stelliums. Our first angel is Celeste. The second is Azure. The third is Crystal. And the final is Chantal. Oh, I love that Lakshmi. I didn't know it was a Lakshmi moon. That's interesting. I've been doing some Shiva and Lakshmi meditations lately. Okay, Aries, joining Celeste is the dog. Wow. Joining Azure is the swan. Joining Crystal is the focus card. And joining Chantal is the beauty card. Okay, this is a very interesting this week because I feel so much love. Like this is really about love, and not just self-love. This is about love of others, love of intimate love. Celeste talks about a new home and a new place of employment, ushering in new positive energy. And then we have the dog, which is about unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity. So for me, for Aries, I feel like this is a shift, because I want to tell you, Celeste for me is really a shift in the way I'm thinking. It rarely represents an actual physical move, because you can move my body anywhere and I'm going to think a certain way. So as I shift the way I'm viewing about love, that love is here. Love is, we tend to, as humans, age out. We start to think, there's this commercial on TV with this woman who's got to be, in her late 60s, maybe early 70s. And she's looking in the mirror and she's saying something about, people when they get to be a certain age not caring about their appearance. And she's the opposite. She's like, she has this youthful glow about her. I feel like for Aries, this is really shifting about the way you're viewing love and giving life to love from a new position. And I say that because Chantal is the angel of romance and there is the butterfly. So I feel like this is really about Aries giving the opportunity of love outside yourself, an opportunity to blossom, to come out of the cocoon. Azure says your desired outcome will happen in the near future. And here's the swan about transforming your intuitive gifts. This is my opportunity and or my obstacle. And there's Crystal saying have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And there's the focus card. So this is how it is a CoverGirl commercial. Thank you, Small Wildflowers. I want to put it this way. So you guys who are new, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm 60 years old. I never got married and I never had any children. And in my mind's eye, I've always felt, even when I was a young girl, before I was of childbearing years, that I would be a woman who would marry later in life, that I wouldn't have my own children, that I would in some ways be a stepmother to adult children, by the way. So I say this because as my Aries rising, it is my opportunity at 60 to believe that, I'm still viable in my love and intimate body. And as I do that, my job with spirit is to focus in on what it is I want to experience and to allow that intuitive knowing that I've always had to blossom. Crystal says have faith and hope, and there's the focus card. So I want to offer it this way. When I think about intimate love, rather than looking at my history of this partner wasn't right and that partner wasn't right and this situation wasn't right, I can now start to think, well, maybe all of those it wasn't right was because not only was I evolving into the person that I want to be in a partnership, so was that person. And we have, in some ways, made a contract to come together at this time because we're part of a generation, part of a group of souls who have agreed to activate at a later season in life some of the sweeter dynamics of the human experience because we are rewriting the human experience. So for my Aries, love is coming. And it's your job in many ways to allow for this transformation. The butterfly goes through a horrific transformation before it becomes the butterfly. It dies as the caterpillar. It goes into the cocoon, unaware of what's happening on any sort of conscious level. And then as it breaks out of the cocoon, it must lay in wait as the wings dry before it can really take flight. So for my Aries and for all of us, I want to say this full moon is an opportunity to really look at how we've been assessing our love lives, and really allowing the Neptunian erosive energies, the ones that say I'm going to lose, transform that. Let that opposition flip the script and put Neptune in its highest vibration. Allow it to say, you know what? I believe that love's coming and there's a spiritual connection. There'll be a connection that is deeper than the markers of life. Most people who get married in their 20s aren't contemplating their partner 20 years from the time they get married. They contemplate, I want to have a baby. I want to get a house. I want to have a white picket fence. None of those things have to do with partnership. So overall, for all of us, as we start to think about how do I want to feel in that partnership, when I look at the object of my attention, I don't want to just admire him as somebody that I respect. I want to know that he admires me back. I want this mutual exchange of energy on an even keel. And when I say that, even is being able to go up and down together, being able to, because we're never going to be in the same place all the time. So we're going to try to do a flow. I hope that made sense, but it makes sense to me. Okay. So overall, we've got a full moon in Virgo. That full moon is in opposition to Neptune. So there is a chance that we'll be releasing any illusions that we have, any stories we've told ourselves that aren't true. Any rose-colored glasses may be pulled off. But as we align to the idea of Neptune and Jupiter taking us to higher realms, to be able to see that if we were to settle for a relationship that didn't really play to our highest vibration, we would not be serving ourselves or anyone else around us. So that's it for this week. I'm really excited to say that we had 3 winners. That was really unprecedented. So I look forward to hearing from all of you and booking those. For those of you that are going to play the last couple of weeks of the game, we have the numbers between 2 and 500. We will try to recap everything. Be patient with us. It takes us a little while. Sunday is not fun day for us. Sunday is a work day. So we have lots to do in the afternoons, but we'll get the timestamps in by tomorrow. And we'll see you all next week at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific. So thank you for joining me. I send love to all of you. And I wish you a great week. And I think that's all. All right. Sending lots and lots and lots of love to you. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye, everybody.